What if the quiet boy in your class is fighting a battle nobody can see? What if the people laughing behind your back become the reason you grow stronger one day? Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we have a touching story about a young boy who felt lonely, ignored, and hurt by the people around him. This story is simple, emotional, and easy to understand for English learners. While you listen, you can improve your English speaking and listening skills at the same time. Before we begin, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you will never miss our next English story and motivational podcast. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy today's story. There was once a young boy named Ethan. He was only 12 years old and studied at a small school in a quiet town. Ethan was not the smartest student in class. He was not the most handsome boy. He was not rich, funny, or popular. Most of the time he stayed quiet and kept his feelings inside. Every morning, Ethan walked to school alone with his old green backpack on his shoulders. While other students laughed together and talked happily, Ethan walked silently behind them. Some children in school did not understand him. They thought he was strange because he was quiet. Some students laughed at his old clothes and worn shoes. Others whispered about him when he passed by. One afternoon, Ethan was walking home from school when he heard two girls talking behind him. "Why is he always alone?" one girl whispered. "I don't know," the other girl answered while laughing softly. "Maybe nobody likes him." Ethan heard every word. His face became sad, but he continued walking without saying anything. Deep inside, his heart hurt badly. That night, Ethan sat on his bed and looked out the window. He asked himself a painful question. Why does nobody want to be my friend? Sometimes loneliness feels heavier than carrying a huge stone. Even though Ethan smiled in front of his parents, he cried silently at night when nobody could see him. His mother noticed that something was wrong. One evening during dinner, she gently asked, "Ethan, are you okay?" Ethan forced a small smile. "Yes, Mom, I'm fine." But mothers often understand feelings without words. Later that night, she entered Ethan's room and sat beside him. "You know," she said softly, "people may hurt you with words, but never let them decide your value." Ethan looked down quietly. His mother continued speaking. "When I was young, people laughed at me too. But one day, I learned something important. The opinion of others does not control your future." Ethan listened carefully. "Your value does not come from popularity," she said. "It comes from your heart, your kindness, and your courage." Those words stayed in Ethan's mind. The next day at school, nothing changed immediately. Some students still ignored him. Others still whispered when he walked by. But something inside Ethan slowly started changing. Instead of focusing on the people laughing at him, he decided to focus on improving himself little by little every day. After school, Ethan began spending more time in the library. He read books about confidence, kindness, and successful people who once struggled in life. He learned that many strong people were once rejected, ignored, or bullied. That surprised him. One book said, "Pain can either destroy you or teach you." Ethan thought deeply about those words. Every day he practiced speaking more confidently. He tried answering questions in class even when he felt nervous. Sometimes his voice shook, and some students laughed quietly, but he continued trying. At first, it was difficult. Very difficult. But growth often begins in uncomfortable moments. One afternoon, Ethan saw a younger student sitting alone during lunch. The boy looked scared and nervous. Ethan remembered how loneliness felt, so he walked over and sat beside him. "Hi," Ethan said kindly. "Can I sit here?" The young boy smiled shyly. "My name is Liam," the boy said. "I'm Ethan," Ethan said. That simple conversation became the beginning of a friendship. For the first time in many months, Ethan felt useful to someone. Weeks passed. Slowly, Ethan became more confident. He joined classroom activities. He spoke more clearly. He stopped looking down while walking. He still had painful days, but he no longer allowed cruel words to control his life. One morning, the teacher announced a school speech competition. Many students became excited. The winner would represent the school in a city competition. Ethan immediately felt nervous. Public speaking terrified him. There was no way he could stand in front of hundreds of people, or at least that was what he believed. That night, Ethan kept thinking about the competition. A voice inside him whispered, "You will fail. Everyone will laugh at you." But another small voice said, "Maybe this is your chance to grow." The next day, Ethan surprised everyone. He raised his hand and joined the competition. Some students looked shocked. One boy whispered, "Ethan? Seriously?" Another student laughed quietly, but Ethan ignored them. When he returned home, he told his mother about his decision. She smiled proudly. "I'm proud of you already," she said. "But what if I embarrass myself?" Ethan asked nervously. His mother looked at him warmly. "Courage does not mean you are not afraid," she answered. "Courage means you continue even when you are afraid." Ethan practiced every day after school. At first, he made many mistakes. Sometimes he forgot his words. Sometimes he became too nervous to continue. But he kept practicing, again and again. Little by little, his confidence improved. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. The school hall was full of students and teachers. Ethan's hands were shaking while waiting for his turn. He could hear students talking and laughing around him. Part of him wanted to run away, but then he remembered something important. If he quit now, fear would control him forever. When his name was called, Ethan slowly walked onto the stage. The room suddenly felt huge. His heart was beating fast. For a few seconds he froze. Some students stared at him quietly. Then Ethan took a deep breath and began speaking. His speech was about loneliness, kindness, and hidden struggles. He spoke honestly from his heart. He talked about how painful words can deeply hurt someone. He explained that many quiet people are not weak. Sometimes they are simply fighting silent battles. As Ethan continued speaking, the room became silent. Nobody laughed. Nobody whispered. Everyone listened carefully. Some students looked surprised because they had never heard Ethan speak with so much confidence before. For the first time, people truly saw him. When Ethan finished his speech, something unexpected happened. The entire room started clapping loudly. Ethan's eyes widened in surprise. He could not believe it. Even some students who once laughed at him were clapping proudly. That moment changed Ethan forever. he realized something powerful. The same people who doubted him before were now respecting him. Not because he became perfect, not because he became rich or popular, but because he stopped hiding from fear. After the competition, many students spoke to him kindly. One girl said, "Your speech was really inspiring." Another student apologized for making fun of him before. Ethan smiled politely. Of course, not everyone suddenly became his friend. Life does not work that way. But Ethan no longer needed approval from everyone. He finally understood his own worth. Months later, Ethan became one of the most respected students in school. Teachers noticed his improvement. Students admired his confidence and kindness. But the most important change happened inside him. He was no longer the lonely boy who hated himself. He learned to believe in his own value. One afternoon, Ethan saw another student being laughed at by a group of children. The boy looked embarrassed and close to tears. Without hesitation, Ethan walked toward them. "Leave him alone," Ethan said calmly. The students became quiet. Ethan sat beside the boy and started talking to him kindly. Because people who understand pain often become the kindest people. Years passed. Ethan eventually graduated from school and continued chasing his dreams. He worked hard, studied hard, and slowly built a successful life. But he never forgot the lonely child he once was. One day, Ethan returned to his old school as a guest speaker. As he stood on the same stage where he once felt terrified, he smiled softly. The students listened carefully while he spoke. He shared his story honestly. He told them about loneliness, fear, rejection, and growth. Then he said something important. Sometimes the people who feel invisible today will become the strongest tomorrow. Never judge someone because they are quiet. And never let cruel people decide your future. The room became silent. Some students looked emotional. Because many young people secretly carry pain that nobody notices. After the speech, a shy young boy approached Ethan. "Thank you," the boy said quietly. "I feel alone sometimes too." Ethan smiled warmly. "You are stronger than you think," he answered. And in that moment, Ethan realized his painful experiences were not useless after all. His struggles gave him understanding. His loneliness taught him kindness. His pain became someone else's hope. And maybe that is one of the most beautiful things in life. Sometimes the hardest moments shape us into stronger people. Sometimes rejection teaches us confidence. Sometimes loneliness teaches us compassion. And sometimes the people who once cried silently become the people who inspire others loudly. If you are listening right now and feeling lonely, ignored, or rejected, remember this. Your current situation is not your final future. The opinions of cruel people do not define your value. Do not give up on yourself. Keep learning, keep improving, keep believing. One day, the pain you feel today may become the reason you grow stronger tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. If this story touched your heart or helped you practice your English, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember this before you leave. Quiet people often have the loudest strength inside them. See you in the next episode.